Hello, my name is Kathryn Ake. I'm the Academic Coordinator for the Practical Nurse Program. Once you're accepted into the program, you'll be hearing from me and work with me until you begin classes. You may hear from me from time to time after you've started the program, so be sure to check your WATC email as well as your Blackboard email on a daily basis. In your packet, you will find the student information sheet. Please bring that out so we can complete it together. We have provided a fillable form for those taking this course online. The first area I would like you to complete is your WATC Student ID, your Social Security number, and your date of birth. This is on the right-hand upper corner of the form. Your WATC Student ID can be found on the back of your Student ID or your class schedule under My WATC. Go to Class Schedule and you will see your ID number on the right-hand side. It begins with a W. Next, you will select which program is right for you. You've been told about the different programs by the director, Pat Plank, in the previous presentation. Choose which program fits your lifestyle. You must put a number 1 in your first preference and a number 2 in your second preference if applicable. Please do not designate a second choice if you will not or cannot attend that program. Now, complete your name, address, phone number, etc. Please be sure to include your middle initial. Next, put in your home email address. This must be an email address that will not change. This is very important because this is the email we will use to send your acceptance packet. It is imperative that the same email address is registered with WATC. Please contact the registrar's office if your email has changed since you first applied to WATC. If you know your WATC email address, please fill that in as well. Now let's complete the prerequisite courses you have taken or are in the process of taking or plan to take this summer. Please indicate if you have taken the required courses and when. Also, if you are in the process of taking a course or will this summer, put the expected completion date. If you are currently a high school student or will be in August, then please put the name of the high school and put a check mark next to the sentence. If you have attempted the Practical Nurse program in the past, please complete this information as well. Sign the form and date it. If you're completing this online, your typed name will serve as your signature. Let's review the deadlines. The TEAS test must be completed by May 31st for the fall entry and October 15th for spring entry. Your high school transcripts are due by May 31st for fall entry and October 15th for spring entry. Your college transcripts are due May 31st for fall entry or August 1st if you are completing prerequisites in the summer semester. The college transcripts are due October 15th for spring entry or December 24th if you're completing the prerequisites in the fall semester. CNA and CPR are both due May 31st or August 1st for fall entry and October 15th or December 24th for spring entry. Now let's talk a bit about money. You will need to begin saving money for upcoming expenses. Although financial aid may cover tuition, books, and supplies that you buy in the WATC bookstore, you will have other expenses that financial aid does not cover. Some of you may not have financial aid and will be paying for this program and all of its expenses out of your own pocket. Other than tuition, you'll be required to purchase a tablet. Everyone will need to purchase a Windows-based tablet. You may buy the tablet from the bookstore and use financial aid or private funds. You can also buy the tablet from places like Best Buy, Amazon, etc. At the bookstore, the tablet is around $762. You will also be required to purchase 2 uniforms and a lab coat. You must purchase these from the WATC bookstore because they will have the WATC logo embroidered on them, and you must have this to attend clinicals. You can also purchase white shoes from the bookstore or wear white non-canvas sneakers. The uniforms will cost at least $150. The shoes at the bookstore are around $30. You will need the nursing backpack, and that runs around $145 and must be purchased at the bookstore. You will need a dual belt stethoscope, and that is $62 in the bookstore, and a watch with a second hand. All of these supplies are covered under financial aid. Of course, there are many required books for the program. As you know, books are expensive. Fortunately for you, the PN program requires electronic books that you will download to your tablets. Historically, electronic books are less expensive than hard copies. However, you will have to purchase a few hard copy books. The cost for the books for the entire program is around $1,600. Again, all of these expenses can be paid for with financial aid in our bookstore. However, these expenses are ones that financial aid will not cover. Immunizations. You'll be required to submit documentation showing that you have immunity to certain diseases. You will show that you have immunity through a blood test called a titer, or documentation of the required completed series of immunizations. I am not suggesting that you go out right now and get these immunizations, but you will have to once you've received your acceptance letter. So you need to put money aside for this. Immunizations can cost anywhere from $20 to $150 each. Some of the immunizations that are required were also required for you to attend elementary school. The first thing I would do is call your mother or your father and ask them if they have your shot record from when you were little. You can also contact the high school you graduated from and request the records they have of your immunizations. Contact your physician as well. Remember, if you're pretty sure you had the immunization but cannot locate the paperwork, you can have a blood test called a titer that will need to have a positive result. Here are the immunizations that are required. The hepatitis B vaccination is highly recommended due to the possibility of being exposed to the disease through blood-borne pathogens in the clinical sites. However, this is one immunization you can decline to receive, although as I said, that is not recommended. There are 3 shots in this series. You will take the first 2 a month apart and then the third shot 6 months later. Or if you decline, you can sign a declination form. Immunity to mumps, measles, and rubella is required. The MMR is a series of 2 immunizations. You should have had these vaccinations as a child. You can get a titer to prove you are immune or begin the series again. You will get 1 shot the first month and the second shot a month later. The varicella vaccination is required. This is a series of 2 shots. If you had the actual disease as a child, the chances are that you are immune. However, you will have to have a blood test that documents a positive result. History of the disease alone does not qualify as immunity. Again, having the chickenpox when you were a child will not be accepted as proof of immunity. You must have documentation of 2 shots or documentation of positive results from a blood test. The Tdap is required. You might have had the Dtap as a child, but you must have the adult form called Tdap. You might have had a tetanus shot in the past few years or a TD booster, but unless you have had the actual Tdap vaccination, which has diphtheria and pertussis, it does not qualify. TB tests are required annually. Your first TB test to enter the program must be a 2-step test. This means you will have 2 TB tests 1 to 2 weeks apart. However, if you work for an agency that requires annual TB tests, you can submit documentation that shows 2 consecutive TB tests a year apart and a current TB test. In other words, 2014, 2015, and your current TB test for 2016. However, if your agency has given you the TB questionnaire only because of a TB test shortage, that will not qualify. If you find that you cannot get a TB test due to, say, the health department advising there is a shortage, you must get the quantiferin TB blood test or a chest x-ray. The TB blood test is only good for a year, but the chest x-ray does not have to be repeated for 5 years. Flu shots are available for the flu season annually in the fall. It changes every fall, so you must get your flu shot in the fall no later than October 31st. This shot can be declined, but you'll be required to have a physician complete and sign a declination form as well as wear a mask during clinicals. You will also have to have a physical. You will use the form that is provided for you and have your physician complete it and sign it. You will also be required to have a background check and drug screen. We have an outside online agency that we use to perform the background check. This company will send you to a local agency for your drug screen. This company will also keep track of your immunization requirements. You will be given directions in your acceptance package, which will tell you how to access this company online. You will pay a set amount via credit card for approximately $130. Once you have completed the online forms, they will run your background check, give you instructions for your drug screen, and how to upload the required documentation and your immunizations. So, as you can see, you will need to put aside money for your background check, drug screen, immunizations, and a physical. So you could be looking at several $100s before you're through. Unfortunately, students tend to live paycheck to paycheck. It is my suggestion that you begin by putting a little bit away each week, so by when the time arrives, you will have saved a little bit to soften the blow. You don't want to miss a deadline because you had to wait until the next paycheck or any other financial excuse. Please read through the review and frequently asked questions. If you have any other questions, please email me at kake@watc.edu.